Members' business, notice number 1, motion relating to China-Australia Free Trade Agreement.
I call the honourable member for Lindsay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the motion relating to the China-Australia Free Trade Agreement in terms of which appears on the notice paper.
Is the motion seconded? Thank you. Member for Lindsay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I stand very proud of the community I represent, proud of an innovative university that's gone beyond its reach, a university that sees the future of our great nation. Through our free trade agreement, the University of Western Sydney has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Beijing University of Chinese Medicine. This free trade agreement will open up so much opportunity to the people of Western Sydney. But all too often we hear about the doom and gloom of free trade agreements and why they may be bad for Australia. But the fact is, overall, a good free trade agreement is about providing a win-win partnership between both countries. This free trade agreement, and in particular the Memorandum of Understanding with UWS, will actually provide so many opportunities and new investments and new industries. Lindsay sits wedged between two of the fastest growing regions in our country, the Northwest Growth Sector and the Southwest Growth Sector. And I would like to acknowledge the presence today of my other Western Sydney colleagues that represent this very diverse and innovative region. I would also like to congratulate the amazing work of the Prime Minister, the Foreign Affairs Minister, the Trade Minister, for enabling this wonderful opportunity to come before the people of Western Sydney. One of the most impressive parts of this free trade agreement, it will open up to the people of Western Sydney exposure to a $170 billion industry. I'll say that again, a $170 billion industry. The work this government has done in opening the doors of the people in my electorate of Lindsay to be involved as a global industry partner will be absolutely crucial to its success. I would like to congratulate the University of Western Sydney to seeing this opportunity. To establish the new facility in Western Sydney, which will be happened by the university, to specifically study and evaluate and validate traditional Chinese medicines. The landmark deal will see the Beijing University of Chinese Medicine link with the University of Western Sydney's National Institute of Complementary Medicines to evaluate different herbal medicines. The plan will use the Western research to give many of the medicines the credibility they need to be accepted as a genuine alternative or complementary therapy. But there's more than just this. It is agreement that will see Chinese remedies translated into an integrated healthcare setting, and that has an enormous spin-off. There are massive patenting opportunities, while there will be more options for patents, and doctors too will benefit by potentially offering alternatives to medicines overprescribed like currently seen with some antibiotics. I myself am a person that suffers with this. I'm allergic to penicillin and other sulphur drugs. I can only take antibiotics, which means I need to be careful when I do take them for when I have a chronic illness and I'm going to need antibiotics in the future. This deal opens the door to a whole new world of the way we look at prescribed medicines. The new faculty will aim to develop new treatments for unmet medical needs and new medicines for export all around the world. It will also see synthetic recreations of active ingredients in those medicines, taking pressure off local flora and perhaps track down the fauna populations, As it stands, the new centre will initially be studying the effectiveness of Chinese herbs. In its embryonic stage, the Beijing University of Chinese Medicine will give UWS $20 million to build a research and patent facility that will directly employ 60 people. And that doesn't include the site construction of workers nor the cost to get the facility up and running. But while that's all great news for Western Sydney, there's even more exciting news that this MOU has done within the region. For instance, the Biata Group are looking at a 256-hectare site in the south of my electorate where they are wanting to employ in the vicinity of 25,000 people. A new science park. They've gone to Nashville, they've gone overseas, how they can actually bring a new Silicon Valley to our part of Western Sydney. We're not talking 1 or 2 jobs here, we're talking jobs in the thousands. We're talking Western Sydney being the innovative health leader for well into the future. This is exciting for an area that is estimated anywhere between 180 to 220,000 people having a job deficit. In my electorate alone, 2/3 of my workforce have to commute every single day. It's about 65,000 people. When we talk about building smart jobs in the vicinity of 25,000 jobs, this is significant. The government's infrastructure plan will link the through the Werrington Arterial, will link the Werrington Business Park as well as the Dubbin-Hevad Business Park. The Penrith Business Alliance estimate that each of these parks will be worth 6,000 jobs each, more smart jobs for the people of Western Sydney. This is what innovative, smart, free trade agreements are going to mean to the people of Western Sydney. It was my great pleasure to have the Foreign Affairs Minister in my electorate on Thursday. She has been crucial into the drafting of this policy, and how proud was I to sit there as I could see the policy that she put together in an embryonic stage whilst we were in opposition, to now see corporate partners coming online to invest in what will be an amazing future for our part of Western Sydney, a region that for so long has been overlooked, a region that people really have not given it the due respect that it has deserved. Madam Speaker, I've received a letter from the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Western Sydney. He has said, and I quote, "I'm sure you agree it is notable that the partnership in question was the sole CHAFTA sub-agreement will be witnessed by President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Abbott. This illustrates the centrality with both views of the leaders of complementary medicine to the CHAFTA overarching aim, which is at its core to produce substantially beneficial and progressive social-economic outcomes for both countries. This particular sub-agreement certainly promises to do just that. I am pleased to add that Western Sydney, Australia's 3rd largest and fastest growing economy, will be a significant beneficiary of this objective. The sub-agreement effectively positions the University of Western Sydney's National Institute of Complementary Medicines as a pivotal contributor to the global growth and accredited traditional Chinese medicine. The partnership with the Beijing University of Chinese Medicine will significantly strengthen the evidence-based efficacy and take up the traditional Chinese medicines. Internationally, those substantially increased research and development capacity. Australian industry revenue from complementary medicines, of which traditional Chinese medicine is a significant component, is conservatively estimated at $3.5 billion per annum. Prior to the execution of the sub-agreement, revenue is expected to grow to $4.6 billion by 2017 to 2018, with accompanying employment figures exceeding 40,000. Pleasingly, these are already strong projections and, of course, will need to be revised in the positive. The global growth of traditional Chinese medicine is very strong, reflecting the heightened levels of domestic support in China. A 2013 KPMG assessment of Chinese pharmaceutical industry highlighted a 165% increase in the government investment in this industry segment since 2005. In 2011, the PRC government identified research and development as a priority, which includes the establishment of a clinical research and development system. The sub-agreement enables Australia, more pointedly, Western Sydney, to be the beneficiary of this process. Already the sub-agreement has led to the securing of, in principle, a bilateral commitment to establish an Australian-China Academy for the integrative health care in Western Sydney. This facility will support internationally recognised preclinical and clinical research by visiting local specialists within a world-class teaching and research setting. In addition, it is clear investment attraction and employment growth potential. The sub-agreement offers further confirmation of Western Sydney's capacity to transition from a declining manufacturing sectors to move towards an innovation-based industry. Like you, The university believes that this shift is not only entirely achievable, but imperative to securing the region's international competitiveness and prosperity for coming decades. Madam Speaker, I'm very pleased to bring this motion before the House. I'm very pleased to advocate for the people of Western Sydney, and I'm excited as to what the future of our region can bring. Thank you.
The second, the member for